So funny. As soon as I go live, people start giving the thumbs up. That's great. All right, let's set up. Um, let's set up Facebook. Make sure the good folks from Facebook get in. I always have to unlock this. All right, edit audience. We are public here. And now let's do Instagram. And we are live on Instagram. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I hope everyone is doing well. I am going live, and if you notice, the topic is gospel guitar for beginners. So, what I'm going to be focusing on today is sharing some information with beginner guitar players or absolute beginners to give you guys an understanding on how to approach playing gospel guitar, and it's not as um, hard as people may make it out to be. But there's some attention to detail that you need to know, and some basic concepts that you need to know. Also, I want to answer any questions you may have regarding your particular guitar, how things function. So, if you are an advanced or intermediate guitar player, some of this stuff may help you, and some of it you probably already know. But I wanted to share this time in this space with my beginner guitar players, absolute beginners, and beginner guitar players. So if that fits you, I appreciate you being here. I see I have a few people on YouTube and Instagram. Hey, how you guys doing over there? I have you over there, and then I have my comments on the other side for my YouTube viewers and Facebook. So let's talk about the guitar, and I really want to answer your questions. I'm going to be on here for a little while. I see you, Brazil. I see all these people coming in from Instagram. And Tron, what's good? Good to see you, sir. Any questions that you may have, I'm here to answer questions. I'm not going to rush through anything. I want everybody to be able to gain something from this. So if you miss something on Instagram, because I know that the guitar is like narrow over there. So if you miss like the top of the guitar, ask the question, and I'll definitely try to answer that for you. So I want to start out with some questions. Maybe if you have a question for me, send me a question, and I'll answer it. But let's talk about this guitar thing. Let me answer these questions for you. I'm going to cover um, the basics, um, major scales, how to build chords, how to apply the major scale um, to songs, and that when you build a chord, how that's kind of building a melody to a song. Hey, Steven, good to see you. Good to see you, Marlon. I'm not going to really talk about technical stuff, Marlon, from um, that side of it, but this is for beginners. So if you have a beginner's question, please ask it. Maybe just how strings, the name of the strings, what does these different things do, what's this whammy bar thing, all of that kind of stuff. Jamaica, good to see you, Jamaica. Just like I was talking a minute ago, and I was talking about um, chords that actually spells out a melody in the song. And before I came on, I was messing around with I Don't Feel No Ways Tired. Hey, see, I Don't Feel No Ways Tired. It's an old traditional James Cleveland song, right? So what I was doing, hey, Bobby, what's going on? Good to see you, cuz. What I was doing, I was playing arpeggios, but I was spelling out um, the song. I was spelling out the song. So I was playing in C, right? So what I did was I took each note of this particular chord, because I'm playing a C, E, G. I'm playing C, E, and G, right? And I'm playing 1, 3, and 5. So the major, hey John, good to see you. So the major scale has 7 notes. Each note has a number, and each one of those numbers is representing when you talk about the number system, right? So if I'm building a chord, if I'm building a triad, the formula for that triad is the first, third, a major triad, the first, third, and fifth degree of the major scale, right? So if we're playing C, we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. Those are the notes in the C major scale. So if I wanted to make a major triad, I pick the first, third, and fifth degree of that major scale. So if I do that, I'll pick the C, right? Then the third degree, E, right? And then the fifth is the 5. So I would have C, E, G. And if I played the 7, okay, the 7 is B, okay? So with that being understood, we could take the 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 1. So if I do 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 1, I'm actually playing the melody to I Don't Feel No Ways Tired. Okay? So take a listen. So that is the melody of that song coming right off of that first, third, fifth, 6, 7, 1. Okay? But it's just the way that we approach it, how we hear the song. So you see that? It's just that simple. I see some questions over here. What chord triad goes with each number? And okay, good question. Okay, so we said the numbers are 1 is the C, 2 is D, 3 is E, 4 is F, 5 is G, 6 is A, B is 7, and back to 1, right? So we have those notes. Now, each one of those notes have a number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we would play the C major for 1. We go to the 2, we play a D minor. The 3 is E minor. The 4 is F major. The 5 is G dominant. The 6 is A minor. The 7 is B diminished. You can play a diminished or half diminished. And then back to your C. So 1 is a C major. 2 is a D minor. The 3 is an E minor. 4 is a F major. The 5 is a G dominant chord, a 7 chord. Okay, the 6 is a A minor. The 7 would be a diminished, a B diminished. You can play half diminished or diminished 7, and then back to your C. So, with that being said, Rashid, if someone said to play a 2-5-1 progression, if they said to you, I need you to play the 2-5-1 progression. What you would do is you would start out with the second degree of the C major scale, which would be the D minor chord. That would be the 2. The 5 would be G7, that dominant. And then the 1 would be C. So they said 2-5-1. And that is one of the most used turnarounds in music. That 2-5-1. 2, 5, and C major for 1. Okay? So if someone was to say, the song has, and this was for my cousin too, Bobby. If they said the song had a 3, 6, 2, 5, 1 movement, that would mean that we would play the E minor 7 chord or E minor chord. That would be the 3. Then we would play the A minor for the 6. Then the D minor for the 2. Then the G dominant for the 5, and then to the 1. But we all often use different chord substitutions to make that happen. And I'm not going to go real deep into all of that stuff because I want all of my beginners, my absolute beginners, the people who really don't understand the number system, they don't understand the major scale, they don't understand how to put a string on a guitar, they don't know what all of these things mean, or what do I do with this? What is this thing on my guitar? What is that? What does these mean? And I promise you, I've ran into professional guitar players who did not know how to control their tone. The only time they would control or anything tone-wise is on the amplifier. They did not know that these buttons actually will change the tones of your guitar. These are on here for a reason. So if something is too bright, we can use these knobs to pull back that brightness, you know? How do you control tone? You control tone, that's a good question. You control tone with these buttons. Okay, check this out. So I'm gonna play this chord right here, right? And I'm gonna raise this guitar up so you can see it. So you hear how it sounds now. Now if I take this button and start bringing it back, it takes away that brightness. See that? See that? That changes the tone. If I want it brighter, I do that. Do that. See, and even if I go to what I call the bridge pickup, because this is called the bridge pickup. Why? Because it's the closest thing to the bridge. Now, there are different guitars that may have 3 of these, and these are called pickups. And you would be able to switch with these switches to make these things do different things. Hey, what's going on, JD? So, all right, I have it on the bridge pickup right now, right? Right? And it's bright. And what happens is with a lot of guitar players, when they go into playing like overdrives or distortions and stuff like that, they'll go into this position because this pickup has a louder, more stronger output. But what happens is this pickup is also brighter. So what they'll do is they'll leave it all the way on 10 and they get that sound. But if they would bring this tone knob down, it actually warms it up. It actually warms it. See the difference? And you still can use your overdrive, but it's just a lot warmer than instead of having that bright sound. Thank you, John. I appreciate you, man. So, oh, you have single coils? Okay. All right. Hang on one second. I'm going to help you with that. I don't know what it really does versus humbuckers. Humbuckers is exactly what it sounds like. It bucks the hum. It takes the hum away from the guitar. It may still have somewhat, depending on the output of your pickups, but these are called humbuckers because they stop the noise. Now, your single coil guitars have more of a hum noise. They call it a 60 cycle hum, okay? And especially with Fender Stratocasters and single coils like that, okay? Hang on one second. Let me grab this other guitar. I have another one sitting back here that I can grab that has single coils. I'm gonna have to tune it up because I haven't picked this up in a minute. Okay, here is a guitar with single coils. This is a Fiore by PRS. And this, if you look at this one has a crazy configuration. You see it has the single coil here and it has a humbucker here. And this has so many different configurations, right? But let me see if let me get this tuned up 1 second, y'all. I can't play no out of tune guitar. Hang on with me. I didn't know I was going to be using this one, so I didn't set it up. But I can't do it with it out of tune. So with this guitar, what I like to do is I like to bring down the tones on this one here because it's kind of bright. You could tell the difference between the other one. If I turn it all the way up, you can tell the difference in the tone. See that? So if I go to these pickups, see how they change? And this one has so many different ways of configuring it. I don't want to get into all the different ways that it configures itself because that's not what I really want to share with you guys. But knowing that we have the single coil and the humbucker and the bridge, we can do a lot of different things with this guitar. Okay. Any more questions? Says when tuning, should the plug be on the note? On my tuner, it shows you when it goes directly 440 and it locks it in green. I'm using the Helix. I'm not the Helix. I'm using the Axe Effects 3, and it has a great tune. It's a great effect. Yeah. Hey Willie, what's good? Good, it makes sense. Like the black one. All right, any questions? Let me look over here at Instagram. What chord? Triad. Oh, I got you over here too. Okay. All right. What you laughing at? Somebody's laughing. Dr. Wilson, how are you? I'm doing good. Yeah, this tones are great. This have great tones. So back to the major scale, building chords, and the number system. Does anyone have a question? And don't be afraid to ask your question. Can I borrow one day? I learn how to play that. That's my daughter. I didn't know that was you. That's Caprina. Love you, Caprina. It just say C, so I didn't know it was you. Good to see you. But yeah, do anyone have any questions about the major scale? Anyone have questions about building chords, intervals? Okay, Bobby, what's your question? Hit me with a question. Do you want me to go over the major scale? How the major scale work? The major scale is everything to music. Without the major scale, we have absolutely nothing. We have zero. Okay. You asked the question. What was your question, Bobby? Let me go back because I'm trying to see everything. Cause how much? See, with this, what's so crazy? With because I have locking tuners, Bobby. Um, I don't. I can just lock it in and tighten it down. So it's not like I have to do raps. I don't do many raps when I do have to rap. And then what I do is I'll go over and under. So the first wind is over and then up under it. And then rap maybe twice. Okay? Twice or three times. Because you don't want too much because what happens is it begins to slip. Oh, thank you. Someone said on Instagram, great says great church footage from Sunday. Thank you so much. Yeah, I didn't know it was you, Caprina. This is a little obvious, but all right. If I'm playing 1 4 5, then I'm on 5. Would I do a lick on the 5 or the 1? Ah, great question. Hey Jeff. Um, so if you're doing 1 4 5, right? Right, we're in C, 4, then 5, and you stay on the 5. You can work off the 5. See that? Major scale. See that's the 5, or you can play arpeggio off the 5. See? Or you can play start off the 5. See that? See that? So you can play it off of the 5. Yeah. But long as you understand that major scale, you have so many options to work off of whichever note you want. Because as much as people think the guitar is such a wide situation, mind blowing, everything is related. Everything is related in one way or the other. So understanding how things work, it puts you there. It puts you there. It takes you out of that box that everyone says. Okay, Jamar, what's going on? Jeff, good to see you. Do you suggest any other tuning that makes? I do. I do. I tune in E flat with my Les Paul type guitars and my Gibsons. I absolutely tune in E flat, and sometimes I'll tune in D, depending on what I'm doing. But I do that. EL, I tune down a half a step, and I also use a heavier gauge string. So I'll go from a 10 to 46 to a 11 to 50 or 11 to 52. Like I just put 11 to 49 on my Les Paul or my Heritage H150 and tune down a half step. So it gives it a bigger, stronger tone for me. On the numbers, do it matter? if you use regular chords or basic chords. The 7th. It really, Willie, it depends on the song, because like I was saying in a video that I posted, that certain songs, they'll change the texture of the chord, because sometimes they'll use the 6 and play the 6 as a dominant chord. Okay, so instead of playing it right, 1 and then moving down to the 6 like a, right, so they go into the 6. So Bobby, that when I say 6, I'm talking about from the C to the A minor. But sometimes they'll take that A minor and make it major, especially if they go chromatically, like a move like this in a turnaround. That's still a 6. 2, 5, 1. Right? That's 2, 5, 1. But they made the 6 a major. They made it a dominant chord. Okay? So it's not always absolute. So even if we decided, Willie, because this is a more advanced question, but even if they decided to play the 2 as a minor 7 or a minor 9, it really just depends. A minor 9, right? That's a 2. And then the 5 could be a 13. And then the 1, a major 7. So it really doesn't, it depends on what you're going for. Instead of a, or, see, that's 2, 5, 1, but I used a 9 chord for the 2. I used a D9, and I used a G7, and then back to the C major, what they call a cowboy chord. Okay. My question is regarding phrasing and common rhythms. I'm a bassist, but I love jazz and blues playing. So phrasing, especially in blues, the phrasing is a lot different because they can hang on one note or 2 notes, and they could just use that. That's the phrasing. The jazz is like they're more chromatic style. Stuff like that. But I'm not going there because we're talking to my beginners and you guys are baiting me. And I said I wasn't going to be baited today. But I love the questions you guys are asking. So we know the major scale. Can somebody on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube write out the major scale in the key of C and post it on here? Can I get anyone to do that for me? In the key of C, write out the major scale and post it. Somebody on Instagram, someone on Facebook, and someone on YouTube. Do that for me. I want you to write it out. Let me get somebody to do that for me. I need someone to write it out, and I'm going to post it so everybody can see. All right? Someone? Anyone? I know some of you are probably at work, but I know you could use your phone. Come on, help me out. Thank you. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. That's the major scale. You put the chords in there. I got it. I see it. Dwayne, good to see you, my brother. Always good to see you. Rashid, what you did, you wrote out as if I was playing the chords. But it's right because all the notes are still there. So, like, if you look here, Dwayne wrote it out. Rashid wrote it out. If you look here, look at what we have on the screen, right? We have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. So if you look at what's on the screen, if you guys can see on YouTube and Facebook. But Instagram, they have the C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. So if you looked at that, this is for all my people who are having problems with the number system. If you look at the first note, you see the C. That would be a 1. You can write this out and put a 1 right up under the C. You go to the next note, which is the D. You put 2 up under that, right? Under the next note, you have E, which is 3. Put a 3 up under that. Next note is F. You put 4 there. Next note is G. You put 5 there. A is the 6. B is the 7. And then back to C, that's the 1 again. Now, a note about the 7. Remember, the 7 is always the note right before your root note. So I don't care what key you playing in, where you at. If somebody called a 7, you better not miss it. I promise you. I'm gonna have a fit if you miss that, because it's always the note right before the 1. The 7 is always right before the 1. Okay? So if I'm playing a D, my 7 would be C sharp or D flat. Okay? If I'm playing E, my 7 would be E flat or D sharp. There you go. Somebody on, oh, there you go. I like that. Somebody on Instagram, aim for the stars. Thank you. He wrote it out for me. I think it's a he. I apologize if it's not. But it's written out. C1, D2, E3, F4, G5, A6, B7, and back to the 1. That's good stuff, y'all. That is great stuff. Great, great, great. All right, let me get my screens back the way I want them. Back, boom. And I think I have somebody else made a comment. There you go. Thank you, LB. Thank you. Thank you. All you guys. Thanks. That's good. That's good. So you guys are able to see this stuff. I'm going to put this on the screen. See, there you go. And I'm going to try to make it bigger, because I know there's a way I can make it bigger here. Here we go. There we go. See, there it is. So my cousin, I hope you're still on here. Check this out. C is 1. Man, I love that you guys are participating. C is 1. D minor is 2. E minor is 3. F is 4. G dominant. Right? A minor is 6. B diminishes the 7. You see, you guys see that? So now let me play it out for you. I'm going to play it out for you, okay? It looked like Walt. Walt! Yo, good to see you, man. Good to see you, Walt. Been a minute. It's been a minute. So let me play this out for you guys. So we said the major scale, and this is the number system. You know what? Dominant is part of the major, because I'm going to give you the formula, Rashid. I'm going to give you the formula, because the third degree is not flattened. It's a natural third degree. Anytime you flatten it, that's when you get minor. Okay? When the third degree is natural, it's major. Okay? Now check this out. We have C, major for 1, then D minor for 2, E minor for 3, F major for 4, G dominant for 5, A minor for 6, then we have 7 is that B diminished. You can play half diminished or diminished 7, and then back 1. Tone. Tone Porter, good to see you, man. What's good, man? It's so good to see everybody on here. So now that we see these movements, right? I'm gonna leave this up on the screen because I want you guys to be able to understand something. Now, Rashid, I'm gonna talk to you real quickly about that. So the formula for a major triad is 1, 3, and the 5. For a major 7 chord is 1, 3, 5, and 7. Okay, so anytime that third degree is natural, you're going to run into a major type chord. Okay, so dominant is part of the major, but it could also float as a minor too. That's deep. I'm not going there yet. Okay, so everybody's looking at the screen, right? If we picked out a progression, right? A 2, 5, 1 progression. I want you guys to look and see exactly what that is. So if you look at the screen, you see 2 would be that D minor, the 5 would be a dominant, and then the 1 would be the major, okay? So we have the 2, 5, dominant, and then the 1. So if they wanted to say 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, somebody tell me who don't know or who's not used to using this system. I want someone to tell me what would be the chords for a 3, 6, 2, 5, 1 progression. Look at the screen and tell me, or write it out. I hope Rashid write it out, or Tone, or somebody who want to get this information. So what would be what you see on the screen? And I know Instagram, you're only getting part of it, and I apologize. But that's the ratio. I hope that one day that they go into the full screen like the other platforms. So if I was to say 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, what would be the chords? Somebody tell me what those chords would be. 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. Okay, 3, 6, 2. Oh, Rashid Jones. There it is. So here it is how I would play it. 3, 6, 2, 5, and 1. Is there other ways of playing that? Absolutely. But we're going to keep it basic for the beginner's sake, okay? So you will hear. All right? Melvin, what's good? Now, I'm going to mess you up. Stedman, good to see you. Good to see you. No, you're not, Bobby. No, you are not. You're not too slow. Long as you understanding this, because listen, my motto is no musician left behind. No musician left behind. So when you're looking at the screen and you see this, stay with me, Melvin, because this is for all of us. If you're looking at the screen, you can see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1. So what we do is we pick out those numbers and apply the chords to it. So the 3 says E minor, and the minor sign is the small m, or sometimes you'll see like a negative, and then the note right before the note. So it would look like a negative E. So that would be minor. But right here, he has the E, small m, that would be the 3. Then we would go over to the 6, and you said A, M-I-N, that's another minor. So that's a 3, A minor. The 2, we would go to the D, where he has D, small m. So he has the 2, that's D minor, and then the 1 is the C. He has nothing by it, so it's automatically the major. It's automatically a major chord, okay? So now, Joseph, good to see you, man. Listen, now what we're going to do is we're going to mix it up a little bit. Just a little, just a little. We said 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, right? 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. 2, 5, 1. Now I want to turn that around. So what I'm going to say is 3, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, flat 7, flat 7, 6, 2, 5, 1. Okay? So we're going to go 3, 6. Some of you might want to write this down. 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, flat 7, 6. But we're going to make the 6 dominant. Okay? We're in the key of C. We're going to make this 6 dominant. Okay? Instead of it being minor. We're going to make it dominant, and then we're going to go 2, 5, 1. Okay? 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. Then we're going to go flat 7, which will be dominant. And then we'll go 6 and make it dominant. And then go 2, 5, 1. All right? And this is what it would sound like. 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, flat 7, dominant 6. Then we play the 2, 5, and 1. Okay? So that's what it sounds like. And we hear these movements all the time. We are listening and we hear people playing this all the time. But a lot of times we don't know what it is. And then when we don't know what it is, it limits our options of what we can play on top of it. But the more you understand what these movements are, the better it is to be able to play different things. Okay, E, 6, 2, 5, 1. Okay, now when we went to the flat 7, what was the flat 7? Somebody tell me what that flat 7 dominant chord would be. Tell me what that flat 7 dominant chord would be. Somebody tell me. Come on, help me out. We got like 15 more minutes I'm going to be on. Right. That would be B flat. That would be B flat. So the 7 is B. The flat 7 would be. And what does a flat mean? What is flat? When I say we're going to go flat, if I'm going to from a B to a B flat, what am I doing? All I'm doing is going down. When you hear the term flat, all it means is you're going down. Just like if you a tire, a flat tire, it means it's going down. That's all that means. If it's sharp, that means it's pointed, it's going up. Right? Lower note, that's right. That's right. You guys are good. You guys are really, really, really good. And I appreciate you guys helping out and writing the stuff on the screen because I want to share it. I left this up there on the screen because I think this is valuable for us for a training purpose, And anybody on here who is not getting this information, don't be afraid to ask the question, because one thing I don't do, I don't allow anyone to disrespect anyone, because we all had to start somewhere. So if you don't understand something, ask the question. I'm not going to let nobody laugh at you. If they laugh, I'm going to delete them, and then I'm going to block them. So we don't have that kind of stuff here. So if you have a question, ask your question. That's why I'm here. I don't care how small or large you may think the question is, or how stupid you may think it is. The stupid question is the question that's not asked. So please ask your question so I can help you. And if I don't know the answer, because I don't know everything. If I don't know it, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to find out, or I'm going to get on the phone I'm gonna grab my phone and I'm gonna call somebody and say, hey, listen, I'm working on this. I had a question. And they want to know this. And I don't know it. I don't. I'm not perfect. You know, I'm learning every day. I'm learning every day. So, any questions about that? So, check this out. Check this out. So, let's build a chord. Let's build a chord. Practicing triads. That's great. Practicing triads. The first thing is, Mitchell, do you know the formula for all the triads? That's a question for you. Do you know the formula for all the triads? Triad, for those who don't know, tri means three. That means a chord. You know, okay. That means a chord that has three notes. Okay? Not chord that has four strings that you can play 4 or 5 or 6 strings and still play a triad. Okay? No. A triad is only 3. But you can play more strings, but it only has 3 notes. Okay? Now, let's talk about the formula for triads. If someone want to put this on the screen, because I'm going to talk it out. I'm going to take this off, but thank you for sharing that. Formula for triads. Let's start with a major triad. And you know what? I should have left this up there. I should have left this up there because this would have worked too. Let me find it again. Let's see. Let me go back to it because this was good. And I can use this. Yeah, let me do this. All right, let's leave this up on the screen because we could use this. All right. So all right, somebody over here has something for me. That's right. There you go. So a major triad has the 1st, 3rd, and 5th degree. All right? 1st, 3rd, and 5th degree. So if we're saying the 1st, 3rd, and 5th degree is a major triad, so somebody tell me the notes. I want my cousin Bobby to tell me what are the notes in a C major triad. Okay, so we're using the 1st, 3rd, and 5th degree of the major scale. What is that? What would that be? Now, don't use the chords. We're using single notes now to build these chords. You're playing single notes. Okay? See, you asked. I asked Bobby, but you're right. You're right. I can't argue with you. That would be C, because you have the 1st degree. Then you have the 3rd degree, which is the E. That's C3 is E. And then you have the 5th. And that makes your major triad. That would make your C major triad, right? So if I was to play that, it would be C, E, G. See, you inverted that, Bobby. you changed that around. It would be C, E, G, because the C is the 1. Okay, then you have the 3, which is the E, and then you have the G, okay, which is the 5. So the major triad in the key of C would be C, E, G. You can play it here. You can play it here. You can play it all over the fretboard. It's okay, Bobby. It's quite all right. So we have C, E, G for the major triad, okay? Now, the minor triad formula, I'm going to give this to you. The minor triad formula is 1, flat 3, and 5. 1, flat 3, and 5. Now, check this out. So that means we would have the C, and we talked about flat, and that means that third degree would be flattened. So instead of an E, we would have an E flat, okay? C, E flat, and G. So how would that sound, and how would I play that? See that? That is that minor triad. That's a C minor triad. Why? Because we took and flattened the third degree, made it minor. Okay? So if anybody asks you what's the formula for a C minor triad, you say 1, flat 3, and 5. 1, flat 3, and 5. Yep. So that's the minor. So now we have the major, 1, 3, and 5. The minor, 1, flat 3, and 5. Right? Okay. Let's go for the diminished triad. What's the formula for the diminished triad? Okay? Somebody give me that. Somebody give me that. Somebody give me that diminished triad formula. Diminished triad formula. Come on, somebody. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Give me the formula for the diminished triad. I'm not going to wait too much longer for it. And I see your question up there. Austin, good to see you. Okay, Austin says 1, flat 3, and flat 5. So what would be the notes in key of C? What would be the notes? Rashid, you got it too. Cool, man. That's so good. I'm glad. I'm so glad. So in the key of C, we would have the 1, which is C. Then we would have the flat 3, which would be E flat, right? And then the flat 5, right? So instead of G, we would actually have an F sharp, right? Because if you flatten the G, you have G flat or F sharp. What does that sound like? 1, flat 3, and flat 5. Now, I show a lot of my students, and sometimes I do it on a live, a way of playing that diminished triad, and it will kind of freak you out because you'll be saying, well, how did that happen? So if I'm playing, for instance, I'm gonna leave this up. Let me see if I can move it. I'm gonna shrink it for now so you guys can see my guitar better. Let me see. Here we go. Let's see if I can move this down. Okay. All right. If I'm playing an A triad, right? 1, 3, and 5 in key of A. So I have an A, C sharp, and E, right? Right? Y'all hear that? If I took the root note, that A, and I sharpen it, that means it goes up. Right? And I kept that that 3 and 5 and I didn't move it, I would go, that's diminished. Why is that diminished? Because I moved the root up a half step. So I would make that a B flat. Then I would have a flat 3 and flat 5 because it didn't move. See that? That's diminished. So another example. If I'm playing major, so I'll go back to C. If I'm playing majors, right, and I go 1, 4, and I raise that root, that gives me a diminished, and then I can play that F sharp diminished. So I'm going F sharp diminished. I can go to the 5 and play the G triad and raise that, sharpen that root. See, then I have a G sharp diminished. So we got, and I can go to the 6, which is the A minor. Just by understanding how that diminished triad works, okay? Understanding that triad, that root, moving it up makes everything else go back a half step. So we're flattening the 3 and flattening the 5s. So I can play this. See, even playing that. 2. All of that stuff I'm able to do because I understand the theory. Because I understand the theory. Now, I had another question. Willie Long said, what would a 7-3-6 sound like in the key of C? So, 7, 3, 6. I can go right. See that, Willie? William Gibbs said, what is the proper fingering for a major 7 chord? It depends on how you want to call it, because I play the major 7 kind of different at times. I'll play it like this. That's an A major 7. I play it like this. Play it like that. Play it like this. Play it like that. I'll play it. There's different ways of fingering it. Let me, I don't even know if I have this camera set up for it. And I got the guitar way down here so you guys can't really see. But that's different way of playing that major 7. That way, right? Like that. Hey, Miss Jennifer, how are you? Any more questions? I'm about to jump off. It's been an hour. And I really hope that this stuff has helped someone either on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I love sharing stuff like this. You guys hang out with me because I am actually going to do a workshop just for beginners, and it's going to be absolutely free. That's not going to, the only thing it's going to cost you is your time and coming in. I'm going to do it live on Zoom. So you'll be able to be interactive with me. We can talk about this. So hang tight. I'm going to do a free beginner's course, a beginner's workshop. I found. Yeah. Man, I love you too, Bobby. Love you too, family. Always. Me and Bobby came up playing together. Bobby's a great guitar player. Great guitar player. All you guys can play though, man. I'm telling you. But it helps if you understand what you're playing. So I'm about to sign off. Thank you guys so much for viewing. For those who are catching this on a replay, please subscribe, so you know when I'm coming on, because normally I'll schedule it and it'll pop up and hit that bell, and that way it'll notify you that I'm on. I'm going to be back on again, I believe, Thursday, sharing some more information on this Thursday. I'm not sure of the time. I think it's going to be 1 o'clock, but if you subscribe, you'll know. Absolutely. LB, my pleasure, man. I play with LB too, great guitar player. All you guys, man, you guys are killer. But again, I say thank you so very much for hanging out with me. Take and use this stuff. And not only use it, share it. Share it with somebody. Grab a guitar player that you see may be struggling. Take the time, say, hey, listen, instead of playing this chord like this, play it like this. Or move it around like this. You can play different things this way, that way, that way. If they don't understand the major scale, explain it to them. Tell them, hey, learn this. Learn basic theory. It's going to help you. Share this stuff. It's important, Music, we don't want it to die and just all you hear are just riffs and runs. That's okay, but if you don't have no foundation, it's just kind of irritating to me. But anyway, you guys have a great Tuesday, and I'll see you probably in the next video. Stay close. Peace.